Hi, once again, this is Kerry with Multicopter Warehouse and the DJI Colorado store. And today I'm going to show you how to do time-lapse. It is super easy and super powerful. You're really going to like this. So first off, I'm going to go and grab my images. Now this is just a folder of images. I'm going to show you the actual folder here. So as you can see, this is just a folder full of the time-lapse JPEGs. These were shot by my good friend, Brian Kopp. I'll give you a link to his Instagram page so you can see more of his fantastic work. So he supplied these images for us to work with today. I get back over to Resolve. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and there is the folder of images. Now I don't even need to open this up. I'm just going to drag this to the media pool. Go over to the Edit tab. Now I'm going to do my normal settings here, quarter resolution, my render cache, make sure this stuff is on. I wish it would save that. Now, what you see here is it thinks it's just basically a movie file. There's really nothing to this. So I'm just going to drag this down on my timeline here, and let's see how she plays. Okay, well, little jerky there, so let's go ahead and generate some optimized media. This will take about 1.5 minutes, but I'll speed it up so you don't have to sit through it there. All right, now we've got our optimized footage here, and now we can see how smooth it plays, and we can see what this looks like just dropping it onto the timeline. So very cool time lapse there, very easy to do, but let's say we want to really speed this up, right? Because we don't want to sit here through a, whatever this is, 30-second, 26-second time lapse. So very quickly, I'm going to click on it, hit Command R, and now I've got my retime controls, just like I do with a movie file. So let's cut this thing down to, let's call it 200%, right? Okay, let's see it again. There we go. So now we have a nice, cool, very fast time lapse. So really fun so far, but now let's get really creative with it and let's do some interesting time remapping on it and speed it up, slow it down. Because as I said, you can do this the same as you would with a movie file. I can go into the color, I can regrade it, all kinds of neat stuff. If this was Adobe DNGs, I can actually pull those in with Camera Raw and do all my image processing all in one shot. So very powerful editor for this. So I'm going to go to my retime curve. We're going to change this, turn off retime speed, go to the retime frame, and let's give this some space to work in. And we have our timeline, right? Well, right now we're increased to 199.69%, but let's go ahead and have some fun. I'm going to use the Option key or the Alt key on Windows, and let's add a handful of keyframes in here. Okay, now if you watched the video on doing the speed controls, this is exactly the same, and if you haven't, then if you want to do this with a video clip, it's exactly the same. So now I have all these points on here, and I'm going to speed that one up. I'm going to slow this one down. We'll speed it back up here, and we'll get back to normal. So let's take a look at how this looks now. And wham, it speeds up, and wham, it slows down, and then really slow. And then up here, it's going to speed up again, and then slow back down. So, I mean, neat effect, but not as cool as we want. So you want to click on each one of these and change them to curves. Change it to a curve. Change it to a curve. Oops, missed it. Change it to a curve, and we'll change this one to a curve. Okay, now we're going to get much smoother transitions in that speed. Now let's take a look. Very natural progression of speed, slowing down, and that this one's going to speed up pretty quickly there. Now we want to smooth out this one, make it go in a little bit longer. I'm going to grab the outside there and pull those lines out so it smooths out how fast or how slow it makes those transitions. So I'm going to just smooth all these out a little bit. Now let's take a look. Now, one thing that we might find when we're really slowing this down a lot, I'm going to go ahead and do that right here in the middle. I'm really going to slow this thing down. Now, when we watch it, it's probably going to look a little choppy. Boom, 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 boom. See the choppiness in there? Well, that's because it's playing slower than there are frames per second. So there's nothing in between. So this is where things get a little weird, right? Well, as long as I'm here on the inspector, now if this isn't showing, right, as long as we have a clip selected, we just go up to the upper right and click on inspector. We can come down here to the retiming and scaling and change the retime process to optical flow. Now this is going to try and create the in-between frames that will make it look smoother. So I'm going to let this render. You see the blue line, the red line turning into the blue, that's rendering in the background. So it needs to do this so that it can create those extra frames and play it back smoothly. If I just tried to play it back, I'd see the exact same thing as I saw before. But if I let it render, again, that's that playback render cache, turn that to smart, it knows that there's something been changed that it can't just fix when it's rendering it out. So now, once this is all rendered, we're going to be able to play it back nice and smooth. And what you'll see when we get into that slow, that really slow section, is it should look really nice. So here, now we're going to hit that real slow, and look how smooth that is. Super natural looking, no jumpiness, no jerkiness to the frames. We come back, we speed it back up, and we have a super cool, very interesting looking time lapse. So that's it for doing time lapse. Super simple. Import the folder of images, drag them to the timeline. That's it. Then you can do your color grading, your speed mapping, everything else that you want to do just as if it was a movie file. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, this was Kerry with Multicopter Warehouse and the DJI Colorado store. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.